In terms of high concept and species, what was everybody thinking?
I was kind of thinking wild mystic.
Okay.
With the crystal stuff being sort of the magic. Not a lot of description about how the magic system in this works. I'm guessing it's will-based.
It is will-based.
Okay.
The only thing is, if you are going to be a crystal mystic, the one thing you need in order to do this is crystals. So you would have a small collection of crystals. So for a well-traveling mystic,
So I went with the concept, wild mystic for hire.
Nice. And I'm getting that correct. It's well mystic or wild mystic?
Well.
Well mystic for hire.
Yeah, the crystal species thing.
Okay. So the big question for you is going to be, what is that one thing that is driving you to be a traveling mystic? What is that? What is your reason for traveling? What is your quote-unquote calling?
Yeah, I don't have that yet.
Okay. Let you ponder that. How about you, Shirley? What do you think?
I think it'd be kind of fun to play like a criminal of sorts. Not necessarily a pirate.
Okay.
But someone who is definitely has he would definitely have a bounty on him.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Just thinking like kind of along the lines of like Riddick.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure where that would fall under the unless for the high concept we just put criminal.
Put the criminal on the run.
What kind of criminal? Like,
there's actually something I wanted to ask. Under the humans, says the culture is vast and varied, and some even boast special powers, with specials in quotations. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean?
Special powers. Special powers. How do I explain this? Okay, so special powers are basically. Special powers aren't magic. It's how to explain this? Okay, with an example. So special powers are basically this: you are walking down the street, you have somebody walking up to you, and instinctively you just read 5 or 6 tells. He's got, it's sort of like when Sherlock Holmes walks by somebody and he can just tell. He's got that analytical mind, and he's like, okay, he's got dirt on that. He's got dirt on his boots. It's a red colored kind of clay dirt that's not from anywhere around here. It's probably one from the northern islands. He's talking with a bit of a lisp, but the accent doesn't sound right. They might be affecting each other. I know they've got very good healers over here, here, and here. Look at the way he's carrying himself. He's definitely, it's that kind of thing for some of them. Others just have developed, like one in every 85 develops that one thing that you know how you do the 10,000 hours to become a virtuoso at something?
Yeah.
They've just got it.
Oh, okay.
It's a human thing. Nobody knows why, but so every
once in a while there's a savant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
it's become a thing since the magic.
Yeah.
Right.
It's become much more noticeable.
That would be interesting.
So the thing is, it's not just that you fire a trick shot and it goes everywhere and it hits the target because you're such a skilled marksman. There's just a little bit something else kind of waxing the wheels here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think I'll be human. I'll toy around with no idea what the
crime would be.
Oh, the crime. I have a feeling that the crime started off something like maybe he was like an ex-soldier or something like that, and just he just kind of like either went AWOL or just decided to leave, and the people that came after him were a little bit rougher than usual. Fight broke out. He killed them. Mm-hmm. So it's like every time someone someone official comes after him, they don't go home, and then the bounty gets worse. So
criminal, but not organized.
So you started off doing something that, this is bounty worthy, and they keep sending people that keep getting killed, and now it's just kind of escalating.
Yeah.
to the point where, okay, I know he only did this, but he has cost us so much collateral damage in terms of dues and personnel. This has to end.
Yeah, it's like it's gotten to the point where he was even the bounty starts to get a little bit more embellished.
Yeah.
And after maybe about the third month or so of constantly having run-ins and stuff like that, and he picks up he has the copy of the one wanted posters, wanted by the Alliance military personnel for going AWOL. Okay, the next wanted poster is wanted for murder. They did die, and then wanted for murder and theft. It's I didn't even do that. and after about the third month, you're you know what? If you're saying that I did it, I might as well just do it.
You get the 2 bounty hunters at the board. Well, I don't know about this guy. He looks a little hardcore. What about you? No, I'm going after this one. He looks a little conceited. I can work with that. He's arrogant. He'll make mistakes. Meanwhile, you're in the background. It's the same person! It's the same damn poster! What? No! It's one guy! It's no, it can't be. Look at this. Look at the ruffian cheeks and those sinister eyes and those come hither lips. Wait, what? Yeah, look at mine. Mine's obviously evil from the start, probably born under a full moon.
Look, there's even a little bit of blood at the corner of the mouth. Oh, what a monster!
You eat
one
sham.
He's the same one. This one just is wanted for going AWOL. This one's wanted for murder.
He's probably about 30 now.
Yeah.
This all started when he was about maybe 18 to 20,
Okay.
and he's just kind of jaded.
Well,
now. It's just whatever.
If you're wanted for going AWOL, you would have had to be minimum age to join the army first. So 20 sounds a little more reasonable for the start time.
Actually, minimum age.
It's much younger. Yeah.
That's what. Well, I imagine you stayed there for a little while and just went through training.
Know the amount of wars that are going on. You there? Can you shoot straight? I guess. Great, fantastic.
So what you're saying is you lasted a month?
It was.
Hop on the skiff. Oh, great. I'm running late for work. What's this? It's a cutlass. Why do I need a cutlass if you're taking me to work? No, we're fighting for independence. Wait, what?
Because the way that these wars just kind of popped up. Standard military is not going to do it. You're going to need shock troops.
Oh, you know what you did? I'm gonna throw some options for your crime.
Wait, hang on. If you needed shock troops.
Yeah, and they had those.
Well, yeah, they're called prisons.
Yeah.
So he was actually a criminal.
Okay.
And
so you were
okay. So in lieu of your imprisonment, you can serve. Instead of serving 10 years in prison, you can serve 5 years with the military.
Yep.
Done. Serves a couple months. Nope.
Cut this.
Here's the thing. You, that last mission you were on, are you thinking more alliance or coalition side? Probably coalition.
Sure.
Or does it matter?
Not really.
Okay. Basically, your big thing was to intercept. You were basically assigned to a group that was designed to basically harass trade routes going on and basically stop personnel coming in. One of the big convoys coming in, you were told that there were weapon components on it. You intercepted it. Battle ensued. Things kind of got out of hand because the weapon components were in fact, it was a prototype gear kind behemoth.
Ah, that's nice.
So halfway through the battle, that got activated, and effectively you had a choice between. Basically, you had a choice. And the choice came down to saving your ass and those of the people you were working with, or cutting through the one captain of the ship who was basically controlling it. You realize that if you strike him down, all this problem goes away.
Sounds good.
You struck him down. Captain dies. You have the little duel on the thing of... You have the duel on the bridge of the ship. This thing is like arms are literally breaking through the airship at this point. It's losing velocity. People are tipping over. You know that this is going south. Everyone is going to die. So instead of jumping on the skiff, which everybody else did, and actually got clipped as it was trying to escape, you went after the captain. Duel ensued. You got a beautiful shot in, literally right between the eyes. And it's a gun blade, so you stab and then shot. The head kind of got split and then exploded, and everything was great. You were able to salvage...
And then everything was great.
Yeah, because you're not dying. You were able to basically do enough with the ship to stop it from careening out of control, waited for your pickup, and when the rest of the unit eventually arrived, your coordinating officer basically told you, like, was like, what you've done is amazing. I'm going to do this one favor for you for free. You need to run right now because the guy you just killed is actually the son of the magistrate of the Alliance. Word. He's like, you basically stopped them from delivering nukes to our enemy, and they would have hit us where it hurts, and I got a lot of friends and family here. However, they are going to come for you, so the best I can say is you run, and for all intents and purposes, I'll just file that you fell off the ship with the rest of them.
Sounds good.
Until you got spotted one time, and that's when the wanted posters started going up.
Well, I mean, he's a criminal, so you go back to doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so ex-military, but maybe that's not part of the wanted thing then?
Yeah. So basically, whoever his parent, the magistrate and his wife, they know you're out there. They know you're alive, and this is why they keep sending people. They've got more money than. Well, they got a lot of money. They could probably rival the dragons in terms of wealth, and they're not afraid of spending on getting you.
How do they know he's still alive?
That is a very good question.
Start leaving notes on any bodies that leave down bounty hunters. Like, if you're gonna send someone, you at least pay them half up front, and then leave it at that. And that way, when they do get paid half up front, and I kill them, half of the money is right there.
Yeah. So effectively, that's the big thing. You were the unlucky bastard who was sent to intercept a weapons convoy, which turned to be a little more heavily guarded and a lot more dangerous than people suspected. And in order to stop this from falling into the wrong hands, you killed the captain, who just turned out to be mommy and daddy's favorite son.
So, high concept, like, ex-military human thief.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's archetypes and species and history. So the next big thing is picking your skills and stunts.
No, next one was your trouble.
No, your trouble.
I mean, I guess skills.
Very, very wanted man. That's not gonna happen.
Wanted man in 3/4 of the overworld. Unwanted in the remaining quarter. Yep, wanted man. Again.
Were you wanted?
How about yours? What trouble are you seeking? Or sought you?
I don't know yet.
You've got a well-traveling mystic.
Yeah, so the no roots thing is kind of built into the...
Well, mystics are usually looking for the answer to something, or to fulfill some deeper calling.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I liked the description of mystic, but I didn't like that.
Okay. So it could be that you've got a little bit of gem shifting powers. You believe that gems are just more than fuel sources for ships, and that's something you're pursuing.
That's not a pursuable thing.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, trouble. We need trouble and to figure out your kind of mysticism. What kind of... Okay. So, question: does your character have family, or are they more of a solo person?
I mean, they would have family, but who knows where they are?
Okay, so you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, so question for you. Okay, you've got your mystic there. and your mystic, walks down an alley, and effectively these two men in hoods kind of come out. One's got like a cutlass, and the other has got the equivalent of a very rough hewn club, and they're definitely vagabonds, but they're taking you as an easy mark. What would you imagine yourself doing at that point? Just free form. I'm just interested to see what that would look like to you. I'm going to say you're going to be able to put these guys down, no problem. I just want to know.
Honestly, I guess fight to get away.
Okay.
Not aiming to like kill them or anything, just to get out of the situation.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not seeing like magic being a go-to skill in that.
Okay. You can be. What about a practitioner of martial arts? And this is your thing. No, hang on.
Okay. That's having the fight skill.
That's having the fight skill.
Also, no.
No.
That's also not a trouble.
No, that's. Okay.
Just let me think on it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one there.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure Mystic is quite what I like. There's a lot of it about it I like.
Okay. What about it do you like?
Give me a second. Where's this silly thing? Part of it's the wanderer. Part of it's kind of the jack of all trades wanderer.
Yeah.
So I guess in some sense it's kind of like a bard.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like the whole. Not the spiritual part of it that you seem to have thrown in, because that I did not get from the.
Okay, so it's more of the being able to do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, because like this deeper meaning thing, it literally is not in the description.
Okay, so don't go with the deeper meaning thing. This is what most people would subscribe to, but you can be very much a wandering bard or a wandering professional of different eclectic talents.
Yeah.
Effectively, it's trouble is honestly the part of the character creation for Fate that gives me the most trouble.
Yeah, hon, I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I'll let you do your thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What are you smirking at?
I'm laughing at I'm too old for this.
Oh my god. You're an old
I don't know. I've laughed at it. I'm not saying I'm.
Oh my god! I'm just imagining you playing that though. That would be hilarious. An elderly well who's got a staff also made out of crystal, who uses it to strike kneecaps, which could shatter them. My, everybody is so really behaved in this. Oh my god, they're so well behaved in this film. Oh.
I see we now have a new NPC.
Yes, we are well behaved. Why is that? There's a.
Hun?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ignoring you now.
Okie dokie. I'm actually plotting things out for game right now. I'm gonna flip the computer around just in case anyone's talking.
No one's talking.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Don't start fighting with the computer. You're gonna mess up the cameras.
All right. Just. Came up with a great NPC idea. Okay. An elderly, matron of the island who's got a stick that's made out of pure crystal. So when she hits somebody in the kneecaps with it, there's a good chance the kneecap might shake. It's an island where everybody is well behaved. We're very respectful for our elders here. Oh.
They're very respectful for our elders.
We have no choice.
You don't understand. It does piercing, cutting, and blunt trauma damage all at the same time.
Alright, so thinking of modifying the Tempted by Shiny things to being crystal, like the crystals call to me or something like that.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Which we can potentially take literally.
I was going to take that literally. I really like that.
I'm going to change the word thief.
Okay.
And install Tomb Raider.
Ooh, nice.
So, more Nathan Drake.
So
should be fun.
So what's your concept now? It's ex-military human Tomb Raider?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Are you still wanted?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like, it was the Tomb Raider thing that got me in prison to begin with, and they were like, if you wanted to get out of prison. And he was like, do I?
Well, I'm pretty sure the magistrate is sending these bounty hunters after me. But those bounty hunters, I'm pretty sure that last thing I stole was sacred or something. I don't know. Mystery cults are, well, so mysterious. They're not taking it well. I mean, I go back down to the pawn shop and get it back for them, but seriously, that would defeat the whole point of being a Tomb Raider. There's certain lines professionally you just have to maintain. So you kill the magistrate's son, and you're a Tomb Raider, and I can imagine a lot of people having issue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secret societies, the churches, the families, the other Tomb Raiders. Behold, Reginald, the sapphire eye of Agamemnon is going. What? It's going. I'm sorry, Reginald. I don't quite. It's not there. What do you mean? It's right there. That's the spot. Yeah, but it's not in the spot now, is it? It's gone. Well, look around. Maybe it fell out. You're telling me the sapphire, 8,000 years old, and a block of bronze just decided to fall out the day we showed up? Well, I mean, it's possible. It didn't just fall out. Are you suggesting that somebody came here, took the sapphire, and left the tomb completely sealed and intact before we arrived? Is that what you're saying, Reginald? Is that what you're saying? That after years of research, going through Force, I know the Force, and deserts, I know the deserts. Well, I know it's gone because he left a note. What? He left a note. It says so right here. Thanks for the gem. Too bad, lads. Better luck next time. XXX. Oh, guys, kisses. Those are not kisses.
Hugs and kisses.
You rolled stealth into deception?
Yep. Stealth and deception go into the same.
You kind of rolled the descriptions of pilot and writing together. Did you mean to have them as one skill?
Pilot, they're very, very similar, but they are different.
If they're very, very similar but different, it should be stunts that differentiate them.
Okay, suggestion on this. Because piloting is basically being at the helm of an airship.
Yep.
Whereas riding is riding the back of a beast.
Yep, but Fate's skills are supposed to be pretty broad.
Okay.
So if that's all they do,
yeah,
they
because
should be one skill.
Okay.
If they do something else,
what should we call that skill then?
If you're rolling ride and pilot into the one.
Yeah.
Transport.
Yeah, do you think so?
Flight or.
Flight makes sense because all the ships are flying.
Okay, let's do flight.
In which case, do we have any extra skills? You might want to split up deception and stealth then.
I'm comfortable having them rolled in.
Okay, but part of whatever. It's not a big deal.
So, Charlie, question for you. You're human. Did they come from effectively a larger, more thriving metropolitan island? Maybe something that would be like Chicago, or the equivalent of London, England back then, or something more urban, or would it be something from more of a pastoral?
Probably something like London.
London. So one of the big mechanical over-arc cities.
Sure.
Okay. So one of those big overarching cities that you would easily see a little bit of everybody coming through, no problem.
Yeah.
If not having ample workforces of each. So, question about your tomb raiding. Is this done for... Okay. When you tomb raid, are you doing it specifically on your own accord, basically breaking in, getting the stuff, keeping it, pawning it, selling it, or do you actually take contracts for people to do things that they don't want to do? Like if you met with a couple of mages and high level academics in a closed room at the university, one of the great universities, and they give you basically offer you a contract to break into this one sacred tomb of another island that they know that they're not supposed to, would you take that kind of contract?
Yeah, as long as I get paid halfway up front.
Okay. So it's not just that you're breaking into tombs, grabbing what you can off the bodies and hawking it all. You're a consummate professional.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the other question is, do you work solo or do you have a few compatriots that you call on?
No, we're solo.
Solo.
At least I did. Then I'm gonna say, you know what would be really fucking funny? If what?
I'm looking at my skills.
If what originally got me in trouble was some family in high standing hired me to go into a tomb because there is this precious jewel that they just absolutely must have, and they hired me to do it. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, it also happens to be, a sacred tomb and temple. So I broke in, maybe knocked out a couple of guards, didn't kill anybody. It's fine. Got the thing, brought it back. They took it and then handed me over to the authorities and kept the jewel.
Oh.
So I was just like, okay, that's
Vendetta time.
That's fine. Not necessarily vendetta, it's just like lesson learned. Fast forward a few years. Some douche canoe is trying to pilot this damn thing and endangering everyone's lives. So I kill him. Happens to be the son of the family that originally screwed me over. So they think it's a vendetta. And I'm like, who now? Because they're just like, we're so important. I have forgotten about them.
You wouldn't have forgotten about them, but you didn't. You wouldn't.
You weren't actively trying.
Yeah.
You killed Captain Mortez. Mortez. Why is that name familiar? That is ringing a bell. That's the thing. Hey, so yeah, it says right on the. Oh no. Not that. I mean, it's a common name, right? Like Smith.
Yeah, small world.
It's just.
I should run.
Actually, that works perfectly.
If they screwed me over for doing something for them, what are they gonna do?
You know what? I can't win with these people. I keep trying. Our son was the pride and joy of this family. And after the violation of his dear grandmama's grave by this heinous monster, I absolutely love that. And just and Charlie, that gem was a very special crystal. To the point where if you were at a pub talking about your exploits, if there was a well there, they'd be like, nah, that's couldn't have been. Those things aren't real. It's nursery stories that we tell our kids just to, get them go to bed. That would be a thing that they'd be like, no, that's bullshit. You're just blowing smoke up us. There's no way you found like a black opal disc crystal. They just...
Nope.
That's not, no. Those things are legendary. Maybe one is spotted every 1,000 generations. And you, my friend, did not spot that. You let alone hold one.
And then give it up.
You had the winning. You had the winning Powerball ticket. Yeah, of course you did.
All right, so got my basic skill set. I've got the high concept trouble idea.
Okay. So what was the trouble you went with?
Crystal's called me.
Okay.
We need to do the phase trio thing. Stories.
We didn't do that for the Star Wars game, did we?
No.
I
would like to do that for this game.
Can I ask why? Because I find they're very forced. I feel like they're forced.
They weren't. Okay, they're forced the way Steve ran them, yes.
Okay.
They were fine for the bounty hunt, the cyberpunk one we did, remember?
Yeah.
And actually, they worked really well. And also, honestly, because it's going to be a really boring Twitch stream otherwise.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, let me know when you're ready to do the face trail part.
Done.
Okay, so
I'm missing one skill, but it's a +1. It's not necessarily
not a big deal.
Okay.
They're gone. Okay. So, for the face trio, what?
This picture that's saying of me like you kind of doing something in just a small kind of unknown temple, and kind of reading something, and then part of the roof kind of caved in, and then kind of fall through, kind of wrapped in a vine, holding like this precious crystal. Hi. Where am I? And it's been a while since I've done this.
Okay.
Basically, story. You throw together a story that your character.
How do you guys cross paths?
Okay. First off, you throw together basically a story your character is involved in. We both do that. We share the stories, and then we figure out a way that our character can thread into the other person's. You create an aspect based off of that story for yourself, and then for the second one, and then I'd say for the third one, let's just do a separate story that we build together.
Okay.
Because we're only 2 people.
Cool.
Okay.
You start.
Sure. So I was hired by a less than scrupulous ship to keep the grav crystals, like basically to work on the grav crystals.
Okay.
As they're flying around, because they expected they might receive some damage for some reason.
Question: big ship, small ship?
Fairly big ship. If it's going to be able to hire someone to repair shit on the fly, probably.
Okay, so big ship. Okay.
Yeah. And they did get raided, or did some raiding for Fire Dawn, something of the sort.
So the answer is both. They were privateers. They were just minding their own business when doing their own job. When somebody
not minding their own business.
It's not minding their own business until somebody decided to do their job to them and they did not like it at all. And were not necessarily as prepared for it as they thought. Okay. So you were on a big raiding vessel and we're a privateer vessel.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, I was hired for the mage shit, I'm not necessarily an active combatant, but I would like to not fall out of the sky, so, definitely ended up helping out magic-wise a bit.
Okay.
But more...
So you saw action? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So. Oh, how cute. There's a well on board. What's it gonna... Ah! My nose! Oh, God, it's like being hit with granite! So, question, what was the fallout after that?
What was the fallout?
How did you... They got raided, you were on board. Did you guys successfully repel the invaders? Or?
I'd say we got away, but we definitely took some damage.
You got away, but you took some damage. Okay, on a big vessel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that...
I spent forever fixing the crystals after that, and it was
Yeah,
A long process.
yeah, because a vessel that big, fixing crystals is very expensive and time-consuming. And being well, when you do it, that energy comes out of you.
Yeah, a lot of naps.
So that if this was a big vessel with those kinds of crystals, you would have been at port for weeks, or at least drifting until you were able to get like the bare minimum on. So you would.
Well, I don't think we took that much damage because we were able to get away, but you know.
So the big question: were you attacked by a bigger ship or a fleet of smaller ones?
Ooh. I don't know. I think I'll leave that up to see where it develops.
Okay. Okay, so that was your big thing. You learned how to fight on the fly. You were hired for an unreputable vessel, and when the trap got sprung, you guys were able to fight your way through it, but not unscarred.
Yeah, now I gotta figure out what aspect I'm gonna build out of that. Where did I put my pencil? How do I do this?
There's one there.
That's where I did it.
Okay, so
I brought 3 pencils out here, huh?
Oh, I didn't use any of yours. I don't know where they went. I never saw them. I actually looked because I assumed you brought multiple pencils. You always do.
brought 3 out here.
Well, I saw that one.
okay,
So I found my own.
okay. So do you need my help to develop aspects
No, I do
of
not
that?
need your help to develop the
Okay,
aspect.
good. Charlie, tell me a story. Or reiterate what you
Picture
already told.
Sicily, 1913.
I'm in.
Okay, so in something like Overworld, in Overworld Sicily,
World Sicily.
which is hovering just above the Ukraine.
But just south of Kentucky for some
Yeah.
reason. It's just
There's
it's a very
anyway,
complicated-
the,
Well, things moved.
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'm avoiding using the term Space Italy, but in something akin to the Italian provinces,
Okay.
I am approached by the equivalent of something like a very, very prominent church,
Yeah.
and saying like, we come to you with sad tidings, and I'm sitting here sipping a cappuccino. Like, if you don't come to me with money, I'm not interested. And it's like, no, but hear us out. Surely your humanity is like, surely you have no idea who you're talking to if you're immediately appealing to my humanity.
Okay.
And they sat there and they were like, we'll pay for your coffee? I'm like, that is a good start. Okay. So they tell me the story about how these pirates, these vicious mercenaries came and they stole their ancient tome, which speaks of a temple long hidden on an island that has been slowly descending over the last 1,000 years and will soon be lost if we don't get this. And just the moment I heard ancient tome, go on.
Because tome translated to illuminated manuscript when he used gold to color in the pictures and gems to weigh down the cover so it won't flip over.
So effectively, they tell me that these privateers and pirates and mercenaries.
Those ungodly heathen
Yes, exactly.
privateer and
Well,
mercenaries.
they would refer to them as pirates and mercenaries because they're just who would go after like just these poor
Privateers are
monks.
respectable. That's not how.
Exactly.
Who will burn in all 13 levels of hell. They added a few since the upheaval.
So they hired me to go after these to just go retrieve the
Right.
tome, and barring if you can't get the tome, at the very least, if you could glean the information from the tome, and then go to the temple, and
Rip.
pretty much.
Rip.
So I'm like, okay, so where's this? And it's like, where's this pirate ship? So well, it just happens to be at port. It's over there.
They're doing repairs.
I'm like, all right then. So, wander over, and I pretty much bring myself as part of the crew. Just one of the many repair crew.
Yeah,
that sort of crap. Effectively chartering passage from one point to the next.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a pretty good deception skill, so it's pretty much, I need out of here now, please. And they're like the cut of your chip. So, as this ship is going over, I noticed this. We have a lovely well on board. Like, oh, good. The ship will not sink. Fantastic. And then I go about, and suddenly there's this attack, and this attack is fantastic because now there's chaos, and this is going to be amazing. So I go to the captain's cabin while everything is going on, and I find the tome and start flipping through it and reading. I find the pertinent information, and then I kind of look out the window and I notice that the attackers have buggered off because the well is doing her job too much. So I immediately just go to Plan B.
Yeah.
Then I hear the captain come in, or like coming into closer to his cabin, and I was just like, okay. So take like his letter opener, stab myself in the hand with it, and then stand in front of the door, which he bursts in, clipping me in the head. I fall down, and because I've also left the window open, and he looks at me and says, "What's the meaning of this?" I just point at the window. It was a diversion. They came for the book. I heard tearing. I tried to stop them, and they stabbed me with your letter opener. This is actually quite nice. And he's just like, heathens! And he goes off on this giant tirade about how the tome originally belonged to his people, and he was reclaiming it, and had absolutely nothing to do with the. Once he found out what pages were missing, he started cursing. He was like, "Oh, the treasure will be, the holy relics will be lost." And I pretty much bluffed my way out.
Get you this heroic individual. No, you don't.
The only unfortunate part is
show them the hand. Hey, took a knife for his letter opener.
Really.
Well, I mean, close enough. I mean,
Okay.
Okay, so that's your embellishment on my story.
Okay.
So, what's your story?
That was his story.
I'm so confused. I just told a story.
Yeah.
Why do I have to tell another story?
No, it's okay at this point. I know what's going on. So basically, you were on the ship as part of the crew. You survived. You kicked ass. You repaired. You infiltrated, robbed, stole, and somehow got away. Okay, so do we go to a next one for the trio?
Normally there'd be a third person, and they would then tie themselves into that.
But we don't need to because there's two.
But we don't have yet.
Okay, so this is where you guys actually met. So how did you, after this happened?
Stop. So you tied yourself into the story that I started telling. You get that, right?
Yeah.
So now you're supposed to just spitball a completely free-form story around you, and then I tie my character into that one. So completely unrelated to the story that was just told.
Okay.
So you guys met in issue 2. We're going to fast forward to issue 16 now. Kind of like doing cameos in each other's book.
What happened in issue 15 though?
Well, maybe you're telling issue 15, and then I tie in 16.
So at the sinking island.
oh.
The reason it is sinking, is because there was one major crystal that they built the temple around.
Right.
So there's this large shaft of a crystal that actually comes up through the ground, but over time, just from things colliding with it, that sort of thing, the crystal started to break.
Right.
So it's starting to lose its power, and it's just slowly determining. And I'm like, okay, so I could liberate this, and I look at it, and it's about the size of me, and I'm like, no, I cannot liberate you. Damn it. Okay, so you're effectively the temple's hidden treasure is it's directly attached to the crystal that's keeping the island afloat.
Yeah.
So it's not something that can be stolen or reclaimed or anything.
Unless you want to fall out of the sky.
Unless you want to fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're just sitting there going, shit.
Pretty much. It's just like, well, fuck. I can't,
They carve the altar directly from the crystal, which keeps the whole thing up. So if I take it, I take all of it, and everything goes down. But that means I have to get back to my ship, and I'm not that fast. Not carrying this by myself.
Yeah.
Oh, hell's no.
No, that is at least a 500-pound chunk of rock.
And that is a 6.5 kilometer run. I could marry the person of my dreams, but I also marry into their psychotic family. That they're close to and genuinely like.
The ones that they send handwritten Christmas cards to, rather than just the printed.
Watch it.
No, those are the ones that you actually like. The other ones you just
yeah.
go to Walmart and here's the Christmas card. It's got a Christmas tree on it. Thinking of you, or whatever.
Okay.
Well, my big thing is that the crystals actually do, they literally call to me, they talk to me. So maybe I found out about this island through the actual crystals on the book.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's doable.
So we actually happened to be on the island at about the same time. And you're sitting there kind of staring at it going, well, fuck.
And the crystal is it's off of me! Oh God, what is he doing? He's pawing me like a newborn! Oh God!
So maybe I'll lift it. Okay, I definitely have to lift it.
Ow! Ow! This is inappropriate! This is non-consensual!
What are you doing?
I'm catching some sun. What does it look like I'm doing? Look, crystal's broken. Trying to fix it, which I can't because
you're a human?
Yes.
So
And there is no treasure here at all. There's no relics. This is the relic because it's actually the island. It's part of the island.
Yep.
The island is sinking, and
so what are you trying to do? Because you're not trying to fix it. That was a terrible lie.
it actually wasn't a lie because if I fixed it, maybe the island would stop sinking into the abyss.
Well, I actually can fix it. Wait, you look familiar.
I forgot one of those. I got one of those faces that people like. If you could fix it, then maybe we could actually work together because there's actually this monastery in Hover, Sicily, and. I don't know. And this is actually a holy relic that they were trying to, because apparently some brutish pirates, mercenaries, really just bloodthirsty savages stole their sacred tome, and they hired me to try and find said tome, and or if they couldn't bring back
Brasshook. It's the city of Brasshook.
Brasshook.
I like how
It's not Hover Sicily. It's Brasshook. And in small brackets, we are not Hover Sicily.
Hover Sicily is that way. Man, directions in Overworld must be nice. Is this Hover Sicily? No, this is Brasshook. Hover Sicily is east and up.
today. Oh man, the maps must be a bitch.
Maps in this world are really complicated because
you gotta do
cartographers just up and quit.
On the bigger vessels especially, you actually have the three-dimensional mechanical maps that the gear kind make. So they're actually continuously rotating and showing you where the different islands are and this kind of thing.
So anyway, this was the tome spoke of a relic. This is apparently it.
Well, there are definitely other crystals here.
Yeah. But this is the most important one.
You're not taking it.
Of course I'm not taking it. It's like the size of me.
But then what were you trying to do?
Put it back.
But he would. he was wrong about something. That wasn't the most important crystal there. What was the most important crystal that you found there?
Okay, first off,
Yeah.
I am going to heal the crystal.
Yep.
So that we stop sinking.
Okay. That is a big... You got to roll for that. But this is like prelims, so no.
Prelims, it's fine. She did it.
All right, poof, you did it.
I came prepared.
Smart.
I got a 6-pack of... All right, Crystal, I got a 6-pack of Red Bull. Let's do this.
I didn't say I did it in one day either.
No, here's the thing, that for you, for all the crystals you've interacted with, this is your magnus opus at this point. This is the smoothest, best job. This is
an island no one knows exists.
Yeah! This is you going into the Sistine Chapel, taking a look at the roof, and saying, I'll show this hack how it's really done.
Man, you're going to be like the first well hipster. Have you ever even repaired a crystal? I repaired like a really big crystal, but you've probably never heard of it.
This is this island. It was an intimate venue. There was only one other person there. Scarf lots. I'd mentioned him, but
no one can throw scarves anymore. My friend James ruined it.
Yeah.
We were playing there was one of those old PlayStation trivia games, and one of the things was like, what would someone say? Imagine, like, devise something that someone would say if they dramatically fling their scarf over their shoulder. So he wrote, and now we will make the sex. And unfortunately, because my brain is weird, I immediately pictured that in Antonio Banderas' voice.
Yeah.
And all I heard was, and now we shall make the sex.
See,
so now anytime someone...
Antonio.
Yeah, well,
really,
now anytime someone flips a scarf over their shoulder.
Far more, yeah, that's... So...
Segways!
Yeah, so you did your thing, and this was a really big deal for you.
And then I went hunting for the other crystal that I could hear.
All right, well, we should probably... Where are you going?
I can hear something.
Yeah, I can hear everything, too. Just birds, wind, grass, you.
No.
Yeah, I can hear all of those things.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, maybe you should be a little bit more specific.
You said this was the only relic on the island.
It's the only one. Take out the torn pages. It's the only one to take.
Give me those.
Hey!
You actually heard, you kind of felt the crystal before you heard it. It's like this burning sensation at the back of your mind. It's just like that kind of like, it's like you've got just that little pinprickling sensation. It just won't go. You've got that thought and you just can't feel it. And eventually the voice just started getting louder and louder. And when you started hearing it, it sounded kind of like more like wind. But there was a bit of a lilt to it, and you could actually make out the distinctive voice of it.
So, whoa. Yeah, no, this one's unique.
Oh, so,
and it does not want to stay here.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go find that.
And you found a small black crystal about yay big. It was perfectly cut. The edges were beyond perfection. But what was different about this crystal, it was black, but not just black, but like it was absorbing light. But deep inside of it were little flecks of gold. And for you, this was one of the original. For this crystal, the only time you've heard of anything remotely like this was before they purged those 5,000 islands, when the Weld still had their, basically, homelands.
Oh shit, this might be from home.
And you hear a voice deep in the crystal, and it's like, you will do. Yes, it's about time. We've waited a long time for you.
What is it?
I think it's a piece of my homeland.
Oh, I see.
And that's when you have a flash. You are no longer standing here. You are standing topside, and the temple kind of vanishes, and that island is actually still attached to a larger island. And you hear this thunderous roar, and you turn and you can see like the sky in the one corner is completely black, not because it's night, but because the light has been blotted out with thousands and thousands of bats, gigantic fang harnessed bats, and on them are members of the Vulgate. Some of them have the black enameled helms with the red plumes coming out and the blood spears off their sides. Others are sort of more like troop carriers, large bats with 5 or 6 of them in harnesses with bone swords, and they're all moving en masse. And you turn to the other corner and you can see countless ships, living tree ships, frigates put together at the last moment, Alliance Confederacy vessels, followed by forces of wing jets and coalition skirmish forces, and it's like being in the middle of a tidal wave, and oncoming lava flow, and that's when you hear the island shriek out as that single crystal split the island apart and intentionally allowed itself to drift out of the null zone. And that's what it's been doing for the last several centuries before it landed to where you were. And then you're back standing with this handsome idiot.
Yeah.
Yup.
It's definitely a piece of home.
Like the crystal is a piece of home, or this island is a piece of home, or what are you talking about?
Yes.
Huh.
And that's when the voice says to you, "Come along, we will have much to do in the future."
Oh, great. Crystal's giving me instructions.
And then it does its equivalent of rolling over and having a nap.
Excuse me, that took a lot out of me, sir.
We have a great quest to fulfill, but first...
Write down the coordinates so the brass hook can find her
Oh, hell no.
precious island.
No.
Yeah. Literally my job. What?
No.
Yes. What?
It's not sinking. I just fixed the crystal. What do you think I did that
This
for?
is
Not for the brass hook.
That's fine. This is a holy site for them. They're not. Look, they're not going to come and pillage it. They're probably just going to make it a pilgrimage site
Or tourist attraction.
or a tourist attraction. Worst case scenario, you've got a street meat vendor over there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It's nowhere near the brass hook. They're totally.
That's the whole point. You've met religious types. So what's that? I have to travel all the way halfway across the world just to reconnect with my faith? Done. These people are weird.
But they
Bring your talkie rock.
But they bring your talkie rock, but they pay.
It's the wonderful thing about religious organizations. They have payment, which I enjoy because when I get paid, I can eat and then move on to the next job.
On the other hand, why are you doing random jobs?
These aren't random. Okay, that one was random because I was having a cappuccino at the time. But normally, I would go and find out if people have been asking about certain sites or relics or something like that. I'm actually quite knowledgeable, despite all of this handsome demeanor.
You see the flattest look back at you, like, uh-huh.
What do you mean? Why? Why do you heal rocks? End of discussion.
At this point, as you guys are...
I might have had an ulterior motive for this one.
At this point, when you guys get topside...
I'm just saying, if you keep it secret, it's a good hiding spot.
And that's when you hear another voice. Hey! Oh, yeah, good hiding spots. Man, he knows all about the best hiding spots. What's your character's name?
Rook.
Don't you, Rook? Don't you? Man, finding you is not an easy thing to do. Yeah, Brasshook, Levendale, hey, even Space Italy. Who knew, right?
Yeah.
We're not in space.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But and you hear this voice. It's like, went to a lot of effort to find you. Actually, not too much. I just bribed the quartermaster at the last place. You know, he seemed to have a good idea where you're going. But why would you come to a little backwater shithole like this, man?
Well, you know, when you hooking up with a well, wanted to show her ancient temple.
Excuse me?
and this is like, Rook, you think too much of yourself. You may be stupid, but you ain't pretty. And out comes from behind like this little grove of trees. You see the shadow, and it's just looming. Like the sun is beginning to set, and from the look of the shadow, it's this large hooded figure with a pair of dual claws, and it's just coming larger and larger, kind of blocking out the light where you guys are. And then you realize it's just kind of the angle of the light. This person's probably about 4'2", maybe. Pulls back a dramatic hood. It's got the head of a rabbit, like a hare, but the fur is very, very dark, and he's got one blue eye and one gold eye. And he pulls out a pair of repeating crossbows. And these are not like your nice D&D, smooth, elegant, you know, let's go to the ballet and sit Pernier crossbows that you would find in D&D. These are Gearkind specials. These are Warthog 1000s. They're small rotary, rapid-fire, short bolt custom design with brass explosive heading repeater crossbow bolts.
Yeah, Bowie.
I hate it when you call me Bowie.
It's the... You know, don't worry about it. Look, man, what do you want?
I want you to come along peacefully.
Can you not put stuff behind the computer?
Yep.
I'm trying to move.
Yep, moving it.
No, that's exactly what I asked you to not do.
Oh, that's too close.
Yes, because if I move it...
Move it. All right.
Crap.
There we go.
Okay, looks like the camera disconnected.
Okay.
So I will fix that. You keep talking.
Yeah. He's like, I told you not to call me Bowie. I got a name, and it's Raven Blood Dark Claw. That's my working name I'm going
Why
by
is
now.
this plugged in?
Right, but to be fair...
It's my moniker. I joined the guild.
No,
I got these. It's Raven Blood Dark Claw. What I need is you to come with me to get into the little cage, to turn the lock, so we can go and I can get my bounty on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that is literally taught. Like, you're actually pulling it out of the power bar.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, listen about that. Like, and I hear you about the name thing. Names are important.
They are.
And very important.
And look,
But it's a lot to say.
You're named after a bird. A bird that doesn't do anything. It just flies. It's like a crow, but dirtier. Just don't make me shoot you. I got you outnumbered.
How do you figure that?
Oh, hey, crossbow bolts. Like
Oh,
it's 25
ammo.
bolts. Yeah, see, that's most people. I paid top coin for these.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, no, these are special, custom job.
Nice.
Recoil's next to nothing on these.
Warthog 5000?
Yeah, oh yeah. You would not believe the number of mooks I had to put away to pay for these bad boys. Oh,
amazing.
take a look. Chemical tips. Chemical tips.
Chemical
You
tips?
fire these things.
How
I got
do you
tracer
do
rounds,
that?
explosives. Oh, man. Okay, so the best thing is... no, wait. You're doing that thing to me that you did before. No, I'm not doing it again.
I don't know what
You
you're talking
shut
about.
up. Shut up. You shut up. And you shut up. And you... Are you with him? Do you need to shoot?
She is not with me.
She's not.
No.
You're doing the thing again.
Don't point
She's
the thing.
totally with you.
She's really not.
She's
really not.
She's really with you. This is what
No,
you're saying.
she's not.
Because it's like the more you're saying it, the more Raven Blood Dark Claw at your service, ma'am. I'm gonna be taking your lover boy there with me. Don't try and get in my way.
He's just that dumb. This has nothing to do with me.
You
It's
be
got
quiet.
nothing to do with what you suggested earlier.
Oh. He just
It
looks at you.
might have something to do with what I suggested earlier. But honestly, I had no idea who was talking.
Look, come on. You stay here. I'm taking your boyfriend with me.
He's not my boyfriend.
I'm
and
taking your
you're
partner
stop
with me.
pointing that at me.
Yep.
Why am I taking orders from you? I'm the one with the the guns!
Okay,
It's a crossbow.
Oh, the repeater, the Warthog 5000.
I'm gonna take the shiny black crystal that just said hi and see if I can gravity push him away.
You're gonna activate that crystal. You guys know we're not rolling dice yet, right? Get your character sheets out, let me pee, and then yes, you can gravity push him.
Why would we...
Well, then I guess I automatically do it because it's...
just kind of like...
You do gravity push him, except when you gravity push, you have to, you just don't, you don't do what my mom does, which is swing the door open at 6 a.m., proclaim loudly that school is about to start, and then bolt out the door like nothing happened. You actually have to awaken a crystal.
Okay, do I have any other crystals I can
No, you awaken it.
Okay.
You awaken it, and the crystal responds to you, you've returned. What need do you have? I can sense it. And you're like, I can gravity push him. So you can gravity push him. And you do gravity push him. And you should have been able to fling him a good 5, 10, 15, 20 feet. Probably through the air into some trees. And he would have landed. And everything would have been fine. You threw him about 60 feet that way, along with the surrounding rocks, trees, shrubbery, and some of the fauna. You actually scraped like about 5 feet of the earth surrounding him, and that's when you heard the big crystal underneath, the ones you just left, where you found him, cry out in anguish. And as he's going through the air,
holy sight!
and as he's going through the air, he fired off a couple of rounds of the Warthog 5000.
Why?
Just gut reflex. You just flew him head over heels, 60 feet in the air.
Oi! But focus on your landing!
And that's when the explosion started. A rock near one of you explodes like a grenade going off. Another one hits a tree, and it actually starts burning from the inside out. And you can see the black iridescent spread where the acid hit. Another one hits a bird. It turns to stone in midair and hits the ground.
He does not like you.
No, he does not. We should run.
For you, this should be panic-inducing.
Yes.
You don't have this kind of power.
No.
So at this point,
there was a very shocked look on her face at the level of what happened.
and you're there and just going, good damn. But the thing is, that rock. that's pretty much it.
Sorry.
The crystal, the crystal island that you guys had, it screamed out in pain, and now the whole island is shaking violently. The crystal is actually so agitated and upset, it's actually losing its cohesion, and you can see in your mind's eye that...
No wonder it was breaking.
It was fine. Now we
Trees
really have to
shaking,
run.
earthquaking,
I run
birds
back down
taking in flight,
I'm running back to the crystal and trying to...
a mantelope in terror runs by. Mantelope, that's now a thing. So you're running to the...
I'm running to the big-ass crystal.
Where are you running?
I was running to the ship because, nope, gotta get out. I got about halfway there. I was like, all right, we just need to get, and then, where are you going? All right. Look at the ship, temple.
Okay. So you run to the newly repaired crystal that you fixed.
It's okay, it's an accident.
You just hug.
And your black crystal's gone dormant at this point. It takes you. I thought you put a fate point there. You're able to calm it down. But it takes the better part of about 10-15 minutes to get to a point where you guys are not shaking. While she's holding on to it, you guys are vibrating like crazy.
I ran to because I'm picturing like it's literally a skiff. I'm going to pilot the skiff to the temple.
Okay.
And just kind of.
So you ran to the skiff.
And
You've got a nice 4-person skiff.
okay.
That can be piloted by one person. So, question though, what kind of skiff do you have?
4-person that can be piloted by one person. Apparently,
Is it?
It's sleek. It's meant for it's got a couple of cargo holds. It's not meant for anything larger than 3 people.
Okay.
It's very sleek, very fast, for specific reasons.
So you've got room for a pilot, a navigator, and possibly a gunner sitting on the back if you need one.
If I needed one, yeah.
Okay. And it's got like the big kind of sail thing with the. Okay, so you're piloting your skiff, and as you're doing, you're kind of weaving between trees as they're coming down. You can see the crocs starting to form a different part of the island. You actually do a hairpin thing where one of the large rock outcroppings, for lack of a better word, vomits itself forward and does like this beautiful rainbow falling stone, and you kind of weave sideways just underneath it and pull up to the entrance of the...
Well, congratulations, you made the island throw up.
You see a little glint of light reflecting off of what's your character's name?
I don't know. I haven't even finished building them yet.
Okay. What color
What color are the crystals?
Every color of the rainbow, just like Jade.
I'm going to call you Gem because you are truly.
Yeah, right. Yes.
I deserve it.
Yeah, I deserve it. So the thing is, you see light glowing off of this well, and then you notice that as you pull up and talk to them, about 3 or 4 minutes later, shaking gets a little bit less, subsides. However, you look around, the place looks like it just got hit by it got hit by an earthquake. Mm-hmm. Trees are down. You can kind of smell smoke coming off the horizon in distance somewhere, and fire must have gotten started. And you okay?
Yeah.
And splits has formed in the crags. You're able to calm the crystal down. It's back to its original state.
What was so agitating about that? Was it just the damage, or was it...
When the black crystal woke and allowed you to magnify its power, that completely set off that crystal and every other crystal in the island.
Okay.
Right now, your crystal is sleeping.
So, are we, is it good? Can we tell people to actually...
This is fine. I don't know what caused...
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go back to Brass Hook, stop hugging the rock, and then we can...
It's still a little agitated.
Okay. Yeah, just maybe calm me down. Pat its head. I don't know. Whatever you do.
Can I roll your phone because mine just died? I'm looking for crystal names.
I'm actually using this to watch Twitch so I can see us from my perspective.
Oh, so the viewer is you.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that, you jerk?
I didn't think it was important. Go ahead.
Now we lost a viewer.
Good job, Arai. Oh. You said come up with a solution. I came up with a solution.
So anyway.
So you guys get both on the skiff, and you're able to set sail. You actually, as you're leaving the island... Do
I find Bowie's ship?
I was just getting to that point. You actually do see it.
I'm just gonna...
He must have come into some money because you've got the 3rd-person thing. He's got a full 12-person complement style ship.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, the rest of his crew, which is completely made up of different worldlings. You see one who's actually got like an eagle's beak and this kind of thing. There's a couple more rabbit ones, and a little disconcerting for you. There's one who looks like it's a bear-ish.
Why is that disconcerting?
Because it's about 6.5 feet tall, probably about 500 pounds, 2% body fat, and has got an axe roughly the size of you strapped to its back. And the part that makes it disconcerting is left arm is definitely a gear style arm. and it looks like there's some kind of Gatling gun rifle
Of
built
course there is.
into it. He must have come into some serious bank. Fortunately, during the earthquake, one of those big-ass oak trees came split down the center of it. So it didn't destroy the ship, but it's absolutely pinned,
Yeah.
and they're completely preoccupied
All right, then.
with moving this. The other part of it too is when you take a look at it, this ship has got rotary turrets at the front and the back of it, which are a very big deal, so it can shoot. And you're like, he did not have those the last time.
He's coming up in the world. That's good for him.
Yeah, that's basic. It's too bad he's pinned there. Not as fast as mine. I really need to watch this thing. So eventually you guys get in you see him passing by. The bearer takes note of you, and you can see it aiming the one hand, and it does fire off a shot, but it goes completely wide. It was a more of, yeah, we saw you. Don't think you're being clever. So you guys bolt off, and you start going. Sorry, where are you headed to?
Yeah, I'm going back to Brasshook and letting them know that not only is the island no longer sinking, not only do I have the 5 or so pages from the tome that was once
Blair.
Mm-hmm.
from their people.
So you damaged the relic.
Well, considering I had to choose between some of or none.
So you damaged the relic and chose harm.
No, I chose to return some of someone's culture to them.
So when you guys touch down, the thing is, it's not like piloting a spaceship. You have to port at certain docks, but the church where you're at. It's actually the church of the Holy Sun, SUN.
Okay.
Which is it is a church, but it's more of like an order of. So the Church of the Holy Sun is more like an order of basically sun worshippers. They believe that everything comes from the light, everything goes back to the light. Mm-hmm. The light is the flip side of the dark. There's actually a church/order, the Monks of the Holy Dark, mm-hmm. and they're actually fraternal. Okay. They're actually affiliated.
Oh, never mind.
They're not enemies, but they have very different views on how things are done. Basically, once upon a time, there was a schism. That's all you need to know. Okay. And these guys pay better.
Yeah. So I explained to them.
Okay. You come. They're gonna actually, when you come to the courtyard of their main building, and there's several long tables set up, and there's like roasted potatoes. There's cooked pheasant. There's like freshly grown vegetables, which is hard to come by on one spot. Mm-hmm. There's something you recognize as corn, which is a delicacy. The various root vegetables, this kind of thing. And some of them are dripping in like a real beef gravy, and you can see a little bit of flecks of mint and things. You, on the other hand, see a couple other tables, and one of them laid out is you can eat human food, but they actually have some well dishes there. So you actually have like it's sort of like a badger, but it's known for burrowing through rock. It's called a torque. There's actually braised torque, and you can see that there's a thick kind of sauce on top of it, but there's actual flecks of malachite in the sauce, which is a big thing for you, and you know that roast torque will taste just like the earth. There's some beautiful crystalline pastries. You can see them actually. Some of them are outfitted with like glass adornments, and the basically the equivalent of scent that you get off them is very, very sweet. You can actually see flecks of actual gold, silver, and just a little bit of obsidian on this one dish, and you know that is a traditional feast time pudding or equivalent thereof for the well. So the one friar comes up to me. He's a young guy. He's in the robe. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back. How are you? And who is your companion? You're welcome here. You're welcome.
Thank you. This is actually someone I met on the way. So I explained to them.
A well. Oh, fantastic, wonderful friar, and this is Friar Johnstone, and it's a well friar, and I'm like, he's crystal, but it's a very glossy kind of crystal. He goes over and starts talking to you.
Okay, so the main relic was a temple that was built.
That's the color she is.
Okay.
Sort of a pale green.
Okay.
With brown bits, and her name's Pren.
Pren. He said, tell me everything.
Well, the relic, as it were, the temple was built on a spire of the crystal that was the supporting crystal for the entire island.
I see.
They built it around that. That was the relic, but the relic was broken, which was why it was starting to descend.
Oh, unfortunate indeed.
Well, there's nothing to worry about. See my friend over there.
Oh yes.
With a little bit of help from me, I managed to put the crystal standing up. She managed to heal it.
Remarkable.
The island's no longer sinking. These are the coordinates.
Oh,
I'm sorry I couldn't do more. These are like 4 or 5 pages of the text. This is what got me there.
Lovely. He's like, please sit down and enjoy a feast.
Yeah, I'm gonna get paid first before I eat. Sorry, man.
Of course. He's like, forgive me, and he kind of waves his hand, and these 2 other monks, and these are big dudes. They're both 6 foot. Shaved head. They've got a tattoo of the order. And one of them, they each have a matching gearwork style gauntlet. Their hands aren't gears. It's just so they kind of give a nod, and they go into the building. They come out a few minutes later, and they're holding like this trunk roughly the same size as the table. Like it is wood. Steel across the top of it. These 2 big guys are carrying it, and it is impressive. So we have your full payment. As discussed, we would love to please take this with. I wish we could offer you more. So they put it down in front of you. 2 guards are like looking at you. One of them holds you a key.
Holds you?
He's holding a key, hands it to you. You actually feel a little bit of, you're just like, oh, God, this is a 2-hander. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why would we put it so...
Quality.
Chest the size of the person that you're actually giving it to. Why would you do that?
You twist it open, the snaps, it comes open. They paid you, all right, full fee. As promised, in gold, in common currency, whatever currency we go to. Fortunately, they didn't pay you in refined coins. They paid you
in bricks.
Not so much bricks, but
nuggets.
Yeah. So these large, oversized, and looking at them, you're like, yeah, the raw material is definitely there. This is probably exactly. It's just not expendable. I have to take this to a foundry.
So, do you have a foundry on site?
They're like, no. Sadly, we trade.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to borrow these 2 to find a foundry so they can carry this to get there, because otherwise, I can't lift this.
They'll be glad to take it to your ship for you.
To the foundry where I can get paid.
Of course, absolutely. They will be glad to take it to the ship for you.
No, they're going to be taking it to the foundry, and then I'm going to be paid in actual payable currency. Yeah. And then I'm going to take that to my ship, because what you agreed on.
At this part, his face starts to turn red, and he's like, well, and he starts to looking. There's a bit of a commotion. It's like, I'll talk to the Monsignor. I'll see what I can do. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. So he kind of leaves them.
I'm eating.
Meanwhile, the other you've come You've come a great distance to be out here on the edges of Brassdale. What brings you to such a small and humble location?
Well, I mean, I don't really have anywhere I stay, so...
We really don't, do we? And I forgive my foreignness, but your coloration is exquisite. I haven't seen anyone with such a hue in such a long time. But as you say, we do not have a place quite our own, but that means wherever we go, it is our place and our tribe. Please have some of the crystalline pudding. It's delicious. I made it myself. Tell me, be honest, what do you think? It's actually very good.
It's good.
Thank you. No one makes the home dishes like they used to. So I have to say, somebody of remarkable talents. Your partner speaks well of your abilities.
Not my partner.
Oh, I understand. He doesn't understand. Ow. He kind of is like your associate.
We ran into each other.
Of course you did, of course. I have to say that somebody of your skills and talents would be very well appreciated here at Brassic. We have much work to do, and to find another well with such community and affinity with the crystals would be a godsend.
What do you do here?
And he's like, let me show you. So he puts the dishes down, kind of leads you on about a 20-minute walk. You see the tour, these are gardens, these are the ports. This is the downtown is that area. They've got these beautiful cafes. But he actually takes you out to the greenhouses behind the monastery. And here's something really peculiar. They're using crystals instead of soil to grow the plants. This is why they're able to grow this fairly large and exquisite collection of culinary plants and edibles. And as he shows you, like these are hothouse tomatoes. We actually use bits of granite here. They're infused with this. This is there's diamonds over here.
Is it in a greenhouse?
It is actually in a greenhouse.
Actually, hothouse is hydroponic, so it's not a hothouse.
So it would be a combination greenhouse hothouse thing. But the point is, he's using rocks and minerals in really experimental, strange ways. And when you open yourself out, you can hear the crystals singing to one another. And this is it sounds like it sounds like you showed up at a rave, and then the rave broke out into like the Philharmonic Symphony for some reason. That's what it's like for you being there. And you have a feeling that the plants might be singing too, but you don't know or really care. They're plants. But the rocks are singing, and this is unique. This is like unheard of. The Monsignor is a portly man, thick beard. Eventually, the young guy, he takes you to see Monsignor. It's like, sorry, we have a problem. We have a problem with the payment. What? Did he deliver the product?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, what's the problem with the payment?
I asked for 1,000 pieces of gold.
Yeah.
Coin. Gold coin. Spendable. Currency. You gave me 1,000 pieces of gold. I now have to take to a foundry to get melted down into coin, which actually costs money.
Right. It was an oversight in the contract. I'll tell you what. And he pulls out a fairly, basically roughly the size of a baseball. It's a leather bag. You kind of plays with it a little bit. You can hear the tinkling it makes, and you're like, that doesn't sound like gold coin. He puts it down, opens it up. Rubies, sapphires, diamonds, little black crystals. Now the thing is, he's like, will you take this as payment instead? it will work in some places. It's probably roughly the full amount, give or minus 250 gold coins. It will fetch you a higher price in the Coalition and the Outer Rims. Mercenaries, bounty hunters, anyone who's kind of in that gray zone loves the stuff. It's not traceable, you can't scry it. However, it's not widely spendable. You don't really spend rubies to buy bread or coffee.
No, but if I went to the Coalition, they'd be able to give me more money than I went for the before.
You'd have to go to an exchange house.
But that's fine. Because if I went to the right spot, technically that could make me more money.
Yeah, he's like, I realize this won't be nearly the king's ransom we promised you, but perhaps this will be a little more convenient in terms of your expenditures.
This will be a little bit more convenient. And one more thing. Your churches. If I need safe haven, I get it.
Provided you do not break any of our cardinal sins, you are welcome for sanctuary, as always.
Good. That means you don't hand me over to any government officials, bounty hunters, anything like that. If the case arises.
If the case arises.
Heaven forbid.
Okay.
So, I will be needing a small pamphlet with your cardinal sins, and I'll be taking this, and have a good day.
And he's like, well, absolutely, I will make sure we provide you with a scroll of what is an expectations and a follower of the Holy Sun.
And yeah, sure, why not?
But before you leave, I invite you to participate in our feast, and it is partially for your heroic return. We knew that you would be successful.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know that. So we knew that he would return successful. You put a $5 on him that he wouldn't. The one down there, Shellstone, he's just paid 20 off of you. They are here and they can hear us. This is a holy endeavor. But you said to speak honesty. There is a time and a place.
Check the scroll. Is gambling on there?
Gambling is not on there.
All right.
I will have to come up with a list of dudes.
I'm just gonna assume it's the usual type thing. And it's just like, thank you very much. I did, however, run into an old friend who does not like me, and he has a bear for a friend, and I would not.
Would this be a mechanical bear? Or
I mean, no, it's a bear.
A bear with
it's a worldling. But,
yes.
anyway, he doesn't like me very much.
What? But the tree. What tree? There's a tree. What? There's a flying tree outside. Kind of leans. They're kind of not paying attention. You're looking, and something has caught their eye out the window. You turn around. It's the ship. They were able to dislodge most of the tree, but it's kind of sticking at a weird 45-degree angle. And Raven Darkmoon Bloodclaw, as he calls himself, they're kind of limping along. It'd be the equivalent of one of the thruster engines got shot out. Yeah. They can't. The tree fell in such a way, if they pull it out at the wrong angle, they're going to pull down part of the mast. So they're kind of limping along slowly.
So they're going to port.
They're going to port where you're ported.
Yeah. Well, I would love to stay for that feast, but I've got a thing. So, tell you what, I will stay here when when trees fly. God damn it.
So you're making up the door, and the other monk basically shows you around, and he's telling you this is something exquisite I've been working on. This has been my life's work. The idea that the different crystals call to each other, and he's going on, and he's kind of theological and mystical and boring, but he leads you back to the feast, and you can see people playing
I'm
games.
ignoring him, and I'm just listening to the music.
And you're listening to the music.
Mouth is moving.
And that's when you see the flying tree kind of lurching by towards port.
Hey, so I have to go. Nice seeing you. Nice knowing you. You did an amazing job with the crystal work there. Fantastic. If the angry rabbit man.
Considering you're taking credit for some of my work, I'm getting some of that pay, right?
No. I found the island and I gave them the pieces of. Actually, you know what?
And you see them slow.
So I'm getting some of that pay, right?
Give me a minute. Go over to the younger guy.
I'm following him
Yeah.
and not letting him because he said no initially.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So.
Yes. Did everything work out?
Oh yeah.
I do have to apologize.
Oh no! Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
We're not. We normally.
Listen, can we? Do you have a satchel? Like a fairly large satchel?
A satchel. Oh yes.
Fantastic.
Just a moment here. It's like, I'll just take some of these out, and you don't need these. And
No.
Flasks of
No, don't do that.
You're not planning on getting married or dying in the near future, are you?
No.
Okay, then you don't need these or this or that. This is okay. And you don't suffer from any ailments, the plague, green fever.
Maybe it's a general travel satchel?
Okay, then we'll put
Their
this.
order? I don't know.
But you do get hungry from time to time.
I mean, yes.
It's like, verbose.
I don't know.
Make them a plate to
This
go.
doesn't need.
Okay.
I just need an empty bag. Give me an empty bag.
He hands you the satchel.
God, thank you. Go over to the treasure chest. Guys, a little help. Okay. Fill it with gold.
Yeah.
Drag it. Here's your share.
No, I can hear the payment.
Yeah, this is your share.
I want some of the crystals.
Nope. That was my payment. That is yours. See, I did my job. I found them the island and I gave them back the piece of paper. You healed the island. Yay, you! So that's your What? You don't get to get paid for a job you didn't ask to. You weren't asked to do. That's like cutting someone's lawn without them asking you to do it, and then expecting them to pay you for it.
I was not giving the island to them. I was getting a hideout, which you promptly ruined.
I had a job to do. Look, we can't talk about this right now, okay? Angry Bunny is on his way here.
At least share the fucking pay.
Whoa, that... I don't know if you know this, but this is holy ground. And we don't use words that imply the act here.
Right, so don't say pay.
No, the other act. The act of procreation.
Sex?
Yes.
Okay, you realize that by saying procreation, you just said sex, right?
No,
Yes.
no, it's very different. It's
No, it's
very
not.
different. We have a whole, the Saint Bartholomew and the text of the scroll that we have given you.
So how do you garden if you get all uppity about procreation in general?
Oh, that's different. They're birthed from the light.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna let you handle this.
No.
No.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
So he's getting
You're
into.
sharing those.
He's
No,
just,
I'm not.
well,
Yes.
You have gold.
well, it's
I don't have
listed.
gold.
That's
It's
too
like-
bad.
it's listed in your sins. There are only certain times of
Oh.
the year you are allowed to. And it's right there. Yeah.
Oh,
Thou
yeah.
shalt only engage in sexual activities during these days, these weeks, and this parts of the year.
What if
To
we
do
call-
anything else is a major sin.
What if you call it engaging in lovins?
No.
No. Bumping uglies.
No.
Horizontal dance. No.
Definitely not. Why are you saying these are one of our sacred times? And he starts going on how everything is birthed through the light, through the will of the light. Praise be by the light.
You've never been a farmer, have you?
It's like, no. I was like, no, I've not been gifted with the ability to till the soil and bring plants to fruition. It sounds like a noble, relaxing lifestyle.
Yeah, it's when you plant the seed to the fertile ground.
And he's just looking at you. The face is going bright red. And it's not with anger, it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I need to go have a shower.
And then after, with a certain amount of time, the plant just punches through the ground, right? And it just erupts. just comes right out of the ground.
I would normally make you guys make a notice right now, but him and the other two monks are beginning to sweat and get really awkward. It's like at the high school dance, and I have to ask somebody else to dance because I can't do it myself. I'll look like an idiot. Kind of awkward. And that's when you hear a voice. Yeah. He's like, I'm not turning over my Warthog 5000s to you. This is worth more.
I need to go.
Than your price.
No, I don't. I actually don't need to do anything. I just need to leave.
Hey, if it's a holy place, where are the holes? Answer me that, right? Right?
Anyway, back to
Hey guys, look, they got a potluck here.
I am a cloud outline in that little.
I am not letting him get away with it.
So you're running with him?
Are you taking the bag of gold with you?
Fuck no.
All right, well,
It's too heavy.
Language from the priest. We've been through this. Have you no decency?
Okay.
Have you no brain?
Penis.
he actually runs back into the building.
This may be a new pastime. Find a back door. Leave.
You guys find a back door. That's when you hear the bear and the squeal of kids, Glunk. Where is he? And the kids are like, and then they run towards it. No, yeah, they've got kids there.
Oh, okay.
That's a feast thing. They're
How
families.
do they have kids if they're not allowed?
They are allowed to have
On
sex
these dates,
between November 17th and December 18th.
from Helm's Day to Queen's Day.
Sun shines for most of the goddamn time.
So at this point, you make it out. Yeah, apparently there's like, the bear's like, don't make me get rough. And that's when the two big guys you see out of the corner of your eye, they look at each other, stand up. They're roughly the same size as the bear. And they, with the gauntlets, it's like, oh, don't you even. And then the little guy's like, what are you doing? This is a church. You can't have a fight in a church. What's wrong with you? They even got food here. We didn't bring nothing. That's like one of the other rabbits, except, he's like half brown on one side and kind of like patterned on the other side. He's like, set your furry carcass down there. And like you, why are you bringing crossbows in the church? They're not, they're crossbows. Put them down. What's wrong with you? God is watching us right now. He's seeing all of it.
Am I within commenting distance?
You are not. You are following him to get the crystals. So he's like, it's shame on you. And you, double shame.
So anyway, I'm going back to my skiff.
I am not letting him out of my sight.
So,
He's like, hey, are you any good with a knife?
Not particularly.
Can you hold out a knife and just kind of maintain a grip
you
on
can
it?
actually extend your hands and have like knife-like protrusions come to your fingertips if you want.
I feel like that might be a stunt.
It is, and it's yours if you want it. Schlink.
Can you do something along those lines?
I don't know. You gonna share pay? Can you do that?
It depends. Are you accepting the job?
What's the job?
Well,
That's a fair question.
It's like, well, I'm going to fly past Bowie's ship and get close enough and just kind of do a flyby of the sail. And I was going to cut a hole in it. Just a tiny little bit of a hairline hole. They won't even notice it until they, go to take off, or the wind takes it, and then the wind makes the hole a lot bigger than it actually should be.
Yeah, I could do that. So, about the pay.
Well, if you're interested, and start taking off, I did notice a couple of black gems in here.
We are starting to roll credits at this point.
Got it. Done.
So I just the camera kind of pans on them.
All of the black ones.
What kind of monster? It's like, and you hear your voice. I said a small hole. There are talon marks throughout the ship. There's just like a few strips.
Extra for overindulgence.
There's a few strips of just hanging from the mast. There's claw marks on the mast. And at this point, If you turn on the camera does a reverse shot, and it's just like we were here, carved into the hall.
Actually, no. I will retcon one thing.
Okay.
Not we were here. Over by the name of the ship.
Yeah.
It's going to be Bowie's ship.
You carved it, and it's not like you keyed it in. It's like you carved it out with a Bowie knife. Yeah. And that's when you hear this. His voice actually hits several octaves. What kind of monster would do such a thing?
3 islands over, there's a bat who's just not happy with the sound that's coming out of him.
God. So that's where.
What is that?
So that's where game would end.
So that's story number 2.
That was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. That was
Surprisingly fun. Yes. Now I need to come up with an aspect based on that.
Prodigal Son with the EU.
It's also 10-2, so I think we're gonna call that. All right. Cheers. Next one will be the first game.